Hello everyone, this is Brenda Hipsher with X-Rite. Thank you for coming today. i1Studio was introduced last week at the Photo Plus Expo, and it is absolutely the newest addition to the i1 family: capture, edit, display, print, perfected. This is a start-to-finish color management solution. We start with our camera profile using camera calibration software and the Mini Color Checker Classic that is included with the system. We also calibrate and profile monitors, as you would expect us to do, but we now have added the features of being able to profile multiple monitors and all current monitor technology. In i1Studio, we have a module that will allow you to profile your scanners now with ICC profiles. You can use the Mini Color Checker Classic to be able to do that for you for the reflective scanner profiles, and use transmissive IT8 targets for the slide and transparency profiling. Those IT8 targets, those transmissive IT8 targets, are available elsewhere. X-Rite does not sell that product, and we'll talk a little bit more about what IT8 targets are available to use with the software when we do the software demo. We also make printer profiles, the color profiles that you're used to seeing from any and all print profiling solutions from X-Rite and from other folks. But i1Studio has something added that X-Rite has never done, and to my knowledge is not included in any other profiling software, and that is the ability to give you an optimized profile for black and white or monochrome toned images right off the bat. And then in that module, there are some other very exciting iterations that you can produce while you're there, and we'll get into that a little more later on. Projector profiling. I don't know if you've ever been to a photographer giving a talk at a club or a conference or a seminar, and all they can say is, boy, I wish you could see this on my monitor because it doesn't look as good on the projector. Well, now you and everyone else never has to apologize for your projector again. You can profile your projector so that it will produce color as best it possibly can in any situation that you find yourself. And for iOS mobile users, we do have the Color True app, and the i1Studio device is now the i1Studio solution is completely compatible with the Color True app, so that you can calibrate and profile your iPads, iPhones, etc., anything that runs on an iOS operating system. i1Studio is an all-in-one solution to manage every device in your workflow. That means camera, monitor, scanner, printer, projector, and mobile devices. i1Studio is built on the industry-leading i1 Profiler software codebase. This is important going forward because, as you know, i1 Profiler is our high-end software that is used with both the i1 Display Pro and the i1 Pro 2 and i1 Pro spectrophotometer devices. Now we have the i1Studio software that is based on that i1 Profiler software, and the code base on that gives you profiles that use the same color engine, etc., that's used in that i1 Profiler software. The hardware used for the i1Studio product is built on the spectrophotometer from the Color Monkey Photo and Color Monkey Design, as well as the 24-patch color checker in a Mini Color Checker Classic version. And then in addition, we're very excited about this new black and white module for optimized results for black and white or monochrome converted images, as well as 4 unique looks that can be printed directly from color files. This is very exciting, and I'm really happy to share this with you. I see that some questions are coming in. I don't want you to think that I'm ignoring you, but it's I just am not able to multitask enough to answer those questions while we're going through the presentation. So if you'll just be patient with me, I apologize for not being able to answer them as they come in, but we'll get to them as soon as we finish the short presentation here. The target audience for this device is photographers, filmmakers, and designers, enthusiasts or pro level. It's perfect for the non-technical user. If you like a really clean interface and you don't want to be bothered with every bell and whistle that is available in the i1 Profiler software, then you have a lot of things you can choose from in the i1Studio software in a nice, clean, easy-to-use interface. And I think you'll really enjoy it. i1Studio is absolutely ideal for those who print, and especially for those who use third-party papers. So, for instance, if you have an Epson printer and you like to use Moab or Canson or Ilford or Hahnemuhle paper, you want to make your own custom profiles, then this is just the perfect answer to your dilemma. The key components of i1Studio are the hardware. And in the hardware section, we have two devices. One is the spectrophotometer, the i1Studio spectrophotometer. And as we said, we're making absolutely no secret that we are using the spectrophotometer that formerly came with the Color Monkey Photo solution. This device has been 9 years on the market. It is an extremely reliable device. The failure rate on this device is just unbelievably low. We're very happy with the longevity and the durability of this device. So we built i1Studio using this spectrophotometer. It is rebranded for i1Studio with a different color, but it is architecturally the same device. The question is logically is going to come, if I have a Color Monkey Photo, do I need to buy an i1Studio device? And we'll deal with that a little bit later, but what I want you to understand is that if you have an older Color Monkey Photo, maybe it's been dropped several times, it may not be measuring the way that you want it to, but if you have an older device that is functioning properly, has been cared for properly, then architecturally, as I said, there's really no difference in those two devices, and we'll talk more about that a little later. In addition, with the hardware solution, you get the Mini Color Checker Classic. Now, if you're not familiar with the Color Checker products, the Color Checker Classic or the Color Checker Passport, you may not know that what looks like just a printed piece of paper is actually a very fine-tuned instrument. The color that is located on these targets is very, very carefully controlled. It is not a dot pattern. It is solid color so that the software can read it properly. And so this is the second piece of hardware that comes with the i1Studio solution. So that would be the spectrophotometer, and the Mini Color Checker Classic makes up your hardware. For software, you have actually three pieces of software that are available to work with the solution. One is the i1Studio, the new i1Studio software, as we said, based on the i1 Profiler. Great piece of software. We're going to do a demo of it a little bit later in the presentation so that you can have a good look at all the options that are available. In addition, we have the Color True iOS app that is available on the Apple Store. You can download that app and use that to calibrate and profile your iOS devices. You will need to be on the same network as your computer. You will need to plug in your i1Studio hardware spectrophotometer into your computer, have them both on the same, both your iOS device, your mobile device, and your computer on the same network, Wi-Fi network, and you'll be able to use the Color True iOS app to profile those devices. I apologize for this picture in my presentation right here. I need to fix that. Some kind of little problem there, but the Color Checker camera calibration software also is available free of charge with the i1Studio solution. So that's three pieces of software: i1Studio software, Color True iOS app, and camera calibration software that is installed as a standalone and a Lightroom plugin. Let's talk about the i1Studio features. We said we can profile everything from our starting with our camera, so we can create custom camera profiles when we're working in a raw workflow with DSLR cameras, or for that matter mirrorless cameras. We can set the white balance both in post as well as doing your custom white balance if you so choose to with an optional white balance card. You can establish a neutral starting point with your editing. So the camera portion of the i1Studio suite includes the Mini Color Checker Classic, the camera calibration software that is a freestanding piece of software, and the Lightroom plugin. For your display, the display software that comes with i1Studio features intelligent iterative profiling. That's just a fancy way of saying that for every color patch that is put up on the screen during the profiling process, the software is evaluating it and then applying versions of the profile as it goes along and iterating it or updating it or refining it as it goes along. So intelligent iterative profiling allows us to use 118 patches, but really hone in on that display profile. Also in i1Studio, for the first time using this particular hardware device, we're able to do flare correct. You'll remember that flare correct is available in the ColorMonkey display product and in the i1 Display Pro product, but now we are putting it in the i1Studio product so that you can account for flare and glare on glossy screens that we often see with Mac displays and so forth. We have the ability to do an ambient light measurement. What that means is that if we're using a color-corrected light box or we are using color-corrected light to view our prints, we can actually measure the ambient light that we're going to view the prints in for a better screen-to-print match. We also have put into the i1Studio video standard support. For those of you who also edit video, you're able to produce a profile that is appropriate for your video editing in addition to a profile that is appropriate for your photo editing. We have extended user controls, meaning you're not limited to just sort of a basic set of controls, and we'll go through that, as we said, in the software demo. And we're able to do multiple monitor profiling and profile monitors that are right up to date to the current monitor technology. For projectors, we create our own custom projector profile so that the projector image matches our display as closely as possible. This profile, it's important to remember, takes into consideration not only the projected colors on the screen, but the screen color and reflectivity itself and the room lighting. So we want to make sure that we can have our lights in the same configuration that we're going to show the work when we do our projector profiling. So if we're going to dim the lights, we want to dim the lights to do the projector profile itself. For the scanner, you scan the target to create a profile and optimize the scanner color. This is an actual ICC profile. You can use the Color Checker Classic either in the mini or the regular size form, the Color Checker Digital SG, a reflective IT8 7/2 target, or you can use transmissive 4x5 and 35 IT8 targets. For our color printer profiling, and as we know, printer profiles are unique to the printer, ink, and paper configuration that we're using. These utilizes a similar kind of iterative profiling that we had in the past in the ColorMonkey photo software, but it's updated with the i1 Profiler engine. Print 50 patches, scan them in. The software uses the information that it gets from the first 50 patches to iterate or produce another set of patches, so that with 50 plus 50, we get a very, very nice profile that's very usable for our general use. We also have extended paper size support. What that means to you is that if you want to profile a printer or a paper that only comes in 4x6 or 5x7, or a printer type like a die sub that's using smaller pieces of paper, then you can produce targets that are actually smaller. And we also have the option to save out our chart as a TIFF. Now, for our black and white profiling module, we are able to optimize a converted black and white image. So we actually can produce a profile that allows us to print a better black and white converted image. So whether you tone it or whether you're looking for neutral tones or some particular color toning, we want to give you the very best opportunity to print those monochrome style images. The printer profile for, or the patch set for doing black and white printer profiles is actually 150 patches. We measure those first 50 patches, and then the black and white module produces an additional two sheets of color patches at 8.5 by 11, so that we're able to get a little tighter read on those monochrome style images. And in addition to being able to properly print a file that you have converted from color to black and white, we're also able to print 4 unique looks from the color file itself without doing anything at all to that color file. So if we printed on a regular color profile, or even on the black and white none profile that you'll see later on in the software demo, you're going to get a color image. But if we make the standard black and white profile, we just choose that profile when we start to print, and we actually get a standard black and white image right off of a color file. In addition, there's also a high contrast black and white. Again, we can print using that profile from a color image file and get a high contrast black and white. We've also added a cold tone image and a sepia tone image. So you have a choice of 4 unique black and white or monochrome looks that you can print from a color image without spending any time or effort to convert those images before you have a look at them in hard copy. This is going to be great for people that want to just visualize on a piece of paper what a particular image would look like in black and white. It's a great way to teach yourself to see in black and white. And it's also a wonderful way for those of you who are actually selling prints to be able to show your customer right after a shoot what an image is going to look like in color and in black and white, and whether it's even in the high contrast, the sepia or the cold tone. For those of you who sell prints and sell your work from prints, it's a great way to expand your print sales. We also still have the ability to optimize any profile file that has been made in i1Studio. We can make additional color patches to refine the profiles, black and white or color, from images that we import into the software, or spot colors. And again, we'll show that in a little bit more detail when we do the software demo. Mobile devices, like we said, iOS mobile devices can be profiled with using the Color True app. Let me be clear about how this works. It is not possible to profile an iOS device. It is possible to profile an app that's being run on an iOS device. So what you do is you profile the app and then bring your images into the app to display properly. So this means that whether your images are in ProPhoto color space, Adobe RGB color space, sRGB color space, whatever color space they're in, they're going to display properly using this profile in the Color True app. Very important way to be able to properly show your work. Let's say you're at a coffee shop, you want to show your work to someone on your iPad. You'll be able to show it in all its color corrected glory and look very similar to what it looks like on your monitor at home. Now let's talk about the software a little bit. All the software that's available for the i1Studio solution is available as a download. There is no software in the box. You go to xrite.com/get-i1Studio. And there you can download the software for the i1Studio product. The reason that we're doing this is because we want to be able to update this software as we go on the fly, going into the future. We know that this is the way everything is going. Everything is updated all the time. It allows us some great flexibility to be able to bring you features and additions and fixes and adjustments in the future. And it also means that whenever you purchase your i1Studio solution, you are going to download the very latest software version rather than having to try to install something that's in the box and then upgrade or update it. In addition, I don't know about you, but my computer no longer even has a CD drive or a DVD drive. So I'm downloading everything from the web anyway. So in those, if there is some unlikely instance where someone has absolutely no access to internet, we will, on a case-by-case basis, deal with that, but we feel very strongly that this is the way of the future. This is the way pretty much all software is delivered now, and we are going this way to be able to give you a better customer experience. What's in the box is a black and silver spectral photometer, a protective bag that doubles as a monitor holder to hang your device over your monitor to do your monitor profiles, a USB power cord, a mini Color Checker Classic, and a card that has the URL for the software download for i1Studio, and another one that has the URL to download your camera calibration software. Of course, you will also need to acquire your Color True app on the Apple App Store at your convenience. Now, at this point, I think what we'll do is let me just scan through the questions here, and then we'll go into a demo of the software. Yeah, we'll talk about the difference in the i1Studio and the colorimeter solutions later on at the end. i1 Pro, Photo 2, and the i1Studio system. This is from Dwayne. Dwayne, if you could just be clear about what you're asking here. Are you asking about the i1 Pro 2 spectrophotometer device, or are you asking about the i1 Display Pro device? Just clarify that. Yes, we'll also talk about the upgrades for anyone who's just purchased Color Monkey Photo. i1Studio software with the Color Monkey Photo system. We'll talk about that as well. Yeah, okay, good. So I think we are... can the targets from Color Checker Passport be used with this software? Yes. The camera calibration software is exactly the same software that comes with the Color Checker Passport. There is no difference whatsoever. It's a separate piece of software, and it can be used with the 24-patch Color Checker, the mini Color Checker that comes with this solution, with the Color Checker Passport Photo, or with the Color Checker Classic that is the full size. And is the black and white profiling useful for the Epson Advanced black and white, mostly black inks? We have not actually tested it on that mode. We had one of the tech folks from Epson come over and talk with us at the launch at Photo Plus Expo, and we're going to do some further testing on it. So what we have designed is really designed for printing with a full ink set using either a converted black and white or a color image to get these looks. So I'll have to say a big fat I don't know yet on that question, and if you want to expand on that a little more, please do so, and we'll get to that at the end of the presentation. All right, I'm going to shift out of the slide deck right now and get over to the software itself. This is what the opening screen looks like on the software. I have in fact, a Color Monkey Photo device plugged in, so it will function exactly as it would with the i1Studio device plugged in. This is the first screen, and you'll notice that in Application Info, you have the checked version and license status at startup checked. Right now, in the first version of the software, that is is on. It comes on, and I advise you to leave it on. You can also check for updates manually. You can see what version of the software and what version of the XRD, which is the background X-Rite software that's driving the hardware in addition to the software package. You can register right here online, and we do encourage you to do that. And we will have some resources that will be populating right here on this i1Studio online button. So very similar. These two sections are very similar to the sections on the i1 Profiler software package. But at that, you pretty much end, because this is a brand new user interface that's been designed for ease of use, to be very clean, very streamlined, and very easy to use. So the first thing you'll notice if we go into the display profiling is that there is no basic and advanced mode. You have a photo mode, you have a video mode, and you have a custom mode. The photo mode is going to default you to the CIE Illuminant D65 and 120 candelas per meter squared. It's a good place to start. It's really the default settings on pretty much all of our other software. So if that suits you and you don't want to make any changes in that, you can just use the photo setting for your monitor calibration for photos. In addition, you're also locked onto the 2.2 gamma or tone response curve. And I believe flare correct is forced on with the photo setting. For video, if you're profiling for video editing, you've got a choice of various protocols and presets for video editing. They differ slightly from your photo settings and let you get your monitor into a little bit better state to be able to edit your video. And often when you're using a television as a monitor, it's not unusual to see that one of these might give you a little bit better output from a television as a monitor. And then you have your custom. And in the custom, you're able to change your CIE illuminant. You're able to change your luminance to, for instance, 100 candelas per meter squared, which is a little darker monitor. This is the one that I prefer over the 120. I can choose my tone response curve either from as a custom, as a slider, as an sRGB, or just the 2.2 as usual, and I'm able to click and unclick my flare correct. So I'm going to leave the flare correct on. I'm going to leave it at D65 and 100 candelas per meter squared, and I'm going to hit next. How do I know to hit next? Because its color is blue. That's how we indicate in the software what to do next. So whatever button is blue, that's the button you press next. We're going to press next, and it's going to tell us that we need to calibrate our device. Now you'll remember that this device has a calibration check plaque built right into it so that you don't need to go find a check plaque or keep up with it or keep it clean. It's all kept right inside the device, safely there, not getting dirty, so that it's ready for you to calibrate at any time. You can press the button on the device that's located right here on the device, or you can just press calibrate as I did before. And then when you're switching your device back to the measuring location, and I want to show you that you're going to be moving from here to here. And when I do that, I want to be careful to do two things. First of all, I want to be careful to do that, to actually get it back to that position, but I want to be careful not to hit that button on the device, because if I do, it's going to start calibrating again. So that can be a little bit annoying. Now, what do we do next? As we said, the blue button is what we do next, so it says Start Measurement Process. The first thing that's going to come up when I hit Start Measurement Process is the Flare Correct module. And it's going to tell us to hold the device approximately 12 inches off the screen, point it toward the device, and hit next. What that's going to do for us is it's going to correct out some of the glare and flare on a glossy monitor. And since I have a glossy monitor, I'm always happy to do this and be able to get the good out of that. Then next it tells me to put the device into the bag and hang it over the monitor just like you see right here, making sure that it's making really good contact with the monitor and not sitting like this so that it's letting extraneous light come in. So I'm just going to put this on my monitor right now. I'm going to hit next because that's what's blue, and what's going to happen is the device is going to tell me where my luminance is first. And this is going to be very high because laptops from Apple in particular usually measure in the 300 lumens range, 300 candelas per meter square range. And so there you have it. Measured white luminance is 355. I'm going to knock down my 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to knock down my monitor to 5 settings, and I get to 129. I'm going to take it down to 6 clicks below the top, and I get to 105. That's plenty close enough. It is within the luminance range. I'm going to hit next, and what's going to happen is the colors are going to start to display on the screen here very shortly. You'll get darker ones, and they'll get lighter and lighter in all the spectrums. And again, the device is picking up what the monitor is producing. The software knows exactly what colors it's sending to the monitor. So you're able to, the software is able to make your profile from the combination of these two sets of data. So let me get out of this module real quick. Gonna find my cursor here. There we go. Sorry folks, I'm having a little trouble here. All right, we'll just jump out of that right quick, and I'll go back into it. Okay, that was our display module. We'll look very briefly at our projector module, and you'll notice over here there's a lot of help files in here. There's related videos that are set up and ready to go in here. So for instance, on the video for using for calibrating for the projector that was the video for calibrating the device. Let me see if I can get that to run again for you. So turn it to this point and then push the button, calibrates, and then turn it back here to measure. The setup for projector profiling, which is another movie that's embedded here, is telling us to, after we've calibrated, to point our device toward the screen and try to get it right into the center of the screen, lined up by eye. We're going to choose for almost all projectors, we're going to choose native for the white point. And you're going to say, well, Brenda, why are we doing that? Because we choose D65 for our monitors. Why would we not choose D65 for our projectors? And the answer is really simple. If I'm sitting in a darkened room and I'm looking at what a projector is producing, the white point, my eye is going to try to correct. So if the white point on a monitor is just, on a projector is a little bit off, my eye is going to try to correct that. I'm not matching a projector to a print. I'm looking at it in a darkened room. And if you've ever put on yellow sunglasses, for instance, you'll notice that it looks yellow at first, and then your eyes correct it back to normal, so that when you take off the yellow sunglasses, everything looks blue for a while. That's exactly what happens when you're looking at the white point of a projector in a darkened room. anything we do, if our projector is way off and we really want to bring it to D65, we have to be prepared that it is going to adversely affect the luminance level of the projector. What that means is most of the time we want our projector to be as bright as it can possibly be. We don't want it to be degraded in any way, so we use native as the white point to keep that from happening. Now we go to the blue button, and it's going to ask us, just like it did before, to calibrate our device. And this time I'm going to use the button on the screen. So I've moved it into the correct position. I'm going to hit calibrate. It's going to take a few seconds to look at that check plaque, that calibration check plaque that's built into the device, shoot out a beam, read that back, and calibrate the device. And then we'll be ready to go. And now you'll notice it tells us to move the sensor, which is marked by this white dash on the device, telling us to move it up to this area. From here to here on the device, there is a window that you'll see on the front of the device. And that means that you can set it on something flat and then literally move the sensor into that window area, line it up to your projector. It gives you a lot of flexibility when you're trying to line up this device. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to point this toward my computer screen, and I'm going to hit start measurement. What's going to happen is it's going to try to find where the device is pointed. And before it does that, it's going to tell me to be sure that I'm within 1.5 times the height of the screen as far as distance. Okay, so if my screen is 4 feet tall, I want to be within how many feet? 6 feet of the screen when I'm doing the profiling. As a general rule, the closer you are to a screen, the better. Now you don't want to be sitting right on it because you are measuring the reflected light from it. But if you can get closer than 1.5, the distance compared to the height, the better you are. Gives you a better profile. So remember to have your room lights set properly. Now when you hit next, the first thing it's going to do is try to find where the device is pointing. And it will look at what it's seeing there based on the device, and then it will start putting up boxes to try to determine exactly where that device is pointed on the screen. And this is what that process will look like. If you have it dead on the first time, you won't see those black and white screens. But in this case, it says that the measurement device is pointing too far right and too high. So we need to get it more toward the middle, and I don't think we're going to be able to do it that way on here. So I'm going to try it one more time and see what we get. Usually when I'm just pointing toward a computer screen instead of pointing toward a projector screen, then it starts to search again, and that's exactly what we're seeing it do there. So there we go. It's picking it up. It found the device, and it's starting the profiling process. So if you start to see colors come up, then you know that you are lined up properly and ready to go. So 118 patches. It counts the patches right down here, as you can see, so you know where you are at all times. All right, now let's just go back to home. We're going to look at the color print module. In the color print module, you're going to choose the printer that you want to profile. You're going to choose the paper size from this really nice list of paper sizes that we're able to use now with the i1Studio product. We can measure in either inches or millimeters. And for the US, we know that that's inches because we don't know for millimeters in the US. And then I would put something like the kind of paper that I'm profiling. So I would say Ilford Pearl. Then I'll know that I'm using an Epson Stylus R2000 and Ilford Pearl. I would then print my test chart or save it out to be used later. And in that case, once that chart is printed and dried down, I would go right to the measurement module, and since I was just set for a projector, it's going to tell me to move it back down so that it's pointing to the downward position. So let me show you that one more time. If I've just done my projector and I'm ready to start scanning my printer patches, I'm pointed out here or up here somewhere for my projector. I need to move it back to the bottom of the device, the flat part of the device, so that it is ready to scan my printed images. Now I've got one already printed out here on my desk, and I want to show you what it looks like when I scan them at a proper speed and when I scan them at a bad speed. So I'm going to use the mark on the device pointing down toward the paper that's pulsing for where the sensor is. I'm going to press and hold the button on the side of the device just like I would press for the calibration, and then I'm going to slide it along the colors and it will read those colors. I'm finished with the next one. I'll go right back and do the second one. I'm going to go right back and do the third one. I'm going to do the fourth one. See how fast this goes. And then I'm going to make the last one fail because I want you to see what it looks like when it fails. It says invalid measurement. Expected to find 10 patches but got 7. Please try scanning number 5 again. So I'm going to start on white, end on white, and bingo, I have my 5th row in. Now once I have that first patch scanned in, I press next, and the software is going to generate either one, in the case of a color profile, 1 more target, or in the case of a black and white profile, 2 more targets that I will then print out, allow them to dry, and then scan them in, and that will allow me to make the final profiles. So it works the same way for either, and at the end of the process, it's going to ask you to properly name your profile. Okay? So at the end of the process, you're going to get right here. I would probably take out, a little bit more here. I know that an R2000 is an Epson printer, so I'd probably shorten it up to that. Then I'm going to have Ilford Pearl. And for myself, I like to have the dates in there so that I know how old that profile is. So then I would hit Save Profile, and if I had put my patches in there properly, it would create the profile for me. The black and white module is very, very similar. There's absolutely nothing different except that at the end of it, it's going to produce an additional 2 charts to scan in rather than just the single one. And then at the end of that module, you're going to be able to produce a profile for none, which means no look is going to be applied. It's just a black and white profile. Using the same measurement data, you'll be able to make another profile for black and white standard, another profile for high contrast, another one for cold tone, and another one for sepia, all from the same scanned data. You don't have to scan the data more than once. It's just a simple matter of pulling down the menu, changing the name of the profile so that you can find it properly, and making that profile for you to use later. And I'm going to show you that right after I finish with the demo here. Let's look at briefly the Optimize Profile module here. What that means is it's going to first look for all the profiles that I have ever made with i1Studio on my computer, and it's going to give me a drop-down menu so that I can choose from those profiles. I can only optimize profiles that have been made on the i1Studio, and so those are the only ones that I can optimize. So it takes just a few seconds here for it to find and organize all those profiles for me and give me the selection. And then as soon as it finds them all, gets them all organized into a drop-down menu for me, the screen will change and I'll be able to have access to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose one of my profiles to optimize. So let me just choose this one. It's a regular color profile for Ilford Luster paper. Now I've got 2 choices here. I can either make a patch set from an image, or I can make a patch set from spot colors. So I can also bump this up or down, right? I can increase or decrease the number of patches that I use here. So let me load an image in here, and I'm just going to go into some general pictures that I have here. And I'm going to choose my lab test chart. Boop. I'm going to drop that in there, and as you can see, that's a very colorful picture. Got a lot of other picture examples on it, and you can see that it's generated some colors that are found within this picture. So let's just say that I had a picture that was predominantly purple, and I was having difficulty getting those purples to produce the way I wanted them to. I could actually load that picture with those add gamut colors into this optimization area and produce a patch set of up to 30 patches, and you're going to see what the patch set looks like. And I scan those patches in. It gives me a little bit tighter profile than I had before because it's extra patches. Now I could also use patches from Spot Colors. So on the bottom of the device there's a little button that you can press, and a little foot will pop out that allows you to target what color that you want to sample. So I'm sampling a blue off of a business card. Let's see. Let's go to Spot Colors. All right. I'm going to sample a blue from a business card. I'm going to sample the black top of my desk. I'm going to sample my red shirt. I'm going to sample my skin. I'm going to sample another business card that's laying on my desk, and I'll sample the silver that's on my computer. So let's just say that those were the colors that I wanted to sample and produce a patch set, and bingo, there is the patch set that I would produce to optimize the profile for those specific colors that I just put in. Some people are going to ask me, I'm sure, why would I want to have a profile that's optimized for a specific image or for specific colors? And I will say to you that you're not optimizing for those specific colors or a specific image. You are tuning up an existing profile a little bit better in those particular areas. So that profile is still very, very much usable as a general purpose profile, but in the areas where you've optimized, it's tuned up even a little better. All right, and now we'll look very briefly at the scanner profile, and this gives you a list of all the targets that you're able to use with this module. You would use either a reflective or a transmissive target to profile for either slides and negatives or images or documents, and you'll be able to produce an ICC profile that you then put into your scanner profiling software, and you should get images that are very, very similar to your original by profiling your scanner. Okay, now let me show you just quickly and briefly, if I can. I want to show you what this looks like if we apply the certain black and white modules that we have made. And I don't know why this is doing this to me, but at this point, I know now what's doing it. Hold on 1 second here. And we will go to US letter. Okay, that should work. Okay, I'm going to set this to scale to fit media so that we can see what we're doing here. Now, Photoshop manages colors. We know that that's our workflow in Photoshop. And then we're going to choose one of the profiles that we made with the i1Studio that is in that black and white module. And the first one we're going to look at is the one for none. And you see that that's a color image. That's what we're going to get, is a color image. We're going to be using a perceptual rendering intent for all these specialized profiles that we're using. For the color profile, we can use either perceptual or relative colorimetric, and you can see that it's making a little bit of a difference there. But for the looks, we need to be in the perceptual range, and here's what happens. Now remember, I'm using a color image. I've spent no time or effort converting this color image. I've just got a color image that I want to look at in black and white. So I'm going to choose my standard black and white look profile, and bingo, that is what I'm going to print from a color file. If I want to see it in high contrast, this is what I'm going to print. As you know, these profiles in Photoshop are not totally accurate, so you really would need to make a print to have a look at it and evaluate what it's going to look like in a print as a printed piece. You can do it as a cold tone, something similar to a platinum print, or a sepia. And here you go. Here are your choices. So it's really kind of a magical little process here that we're able to go through and be able to make black and white, different black and white print looks from a color file. Now, i1Studio is $489. It's an i1 spectral photometer built on with new software, the i1Studio software built on the i1 Profiler code base that gives us absolutely excellent results. This is, again, an all-in-one solution from your camera to your monitor, to your scanner, to your projector, to your prints, both black and white and color, and even for use with the Color True app. So this is a full end-to-end solution and very, very affordable. The next solution that is available, for instance, with scanner profiling from X-Rite is quite a lot more. So this is an incredible value as well as being really a wonderful, wonderful piece of software. Now, several people asked about all you Color Monkey Photo and Color Monkey Design owners out there. Well, there's good news for you because you get a complimentary upgrade to i1Studio by simply going to xrite.com/get-i1Studio. Download that software and your Color Monkey Photo or Color Monkey Design will work just fine with the i1Studio software. Again, I can't account for the condition that your device is in. If it's an older device, I would encourage you to think about getting a new device at some point in the future, but certainly it is the i1Studio software is designed to work with the existing Color Monkey Photo and Color Monkey Design product out there. So why did we do this? It sounds like we're knocking ourselves out of sales. Well, we believe at X-Rite that we need to support our customers. We provide solutions that a person can grow with. So we know that as you grow in your photography expertise, maybe then you want to go to an i1 Pro 2 device at some point. Maybe then you want to have an i1 Display Pro device that's a little bit smaller, that you can carry a little bit more easily around with you. We are concerned about you, our customer, and about supporting you, our customer, for the long term, not for the short term. So we have now retired both the Color Monkey Photo and the Color Monkey Design product, and the i1Studio is the replacement for both of those products. If you are a user of the software that was included with the Color Monkey Photo called Color Picker, you can continue to use that software with your old Color Monkey Design or Color Monkey Photo device. There will be no additional development of that software. So once we get to a situation where that software no longer runs on your iOS that you're running on your computer, you will need to purchase the Pantone Color Manager to retain that functionality. But for the time being, you certainly can continue to use the color picker that is in the Color Monkey Photo or Color Monkey Design software. Promotions throughout the world for the next 6 months to June 30th, actually 7 months. If you register within 30 days, you're going to get an additional 12-month warranty. So you get a 12-month just by buying the device. When you register the device, you get an additional 12 months for a total of 24-month warranty. We encourage you to do this for a number of reasons, and not the least of which is so that we will be able to contact you when we have upgrades and updates, new features, and so forth that we want to share with you. So be sure to register your device. In the United States, there is in progress a trade-in program. If you have an older monitor solution, which would be a colorimeter, or an older printer solution, which would be a spectral photometer, you can get either $25 or $50 back in a rebate. The details are at xritephoto.com, and you can get that rebate after you purchase your new i1Studio device. This is only valid to December 31st, 2017, and only in the U.S. And you can learn more about i1Studio and all the X-Rite color management solutions at xritephoto.com, and for i1Studio, add /i1Studio to learn more. Now, I'm going to go back through these questions, and I'm going to be sure that we have answered all the questions. So Marcia asked, so the engines that make the profiles in the i1Studio software are actually based, as we said, on the i1 Profiler software. So we have already been told by a couple of people that they are experiencing a little better profiles on their monitor. Obviously, you have the option of being able to do your black and white printer profiles. So we feel very strongly that this is a real plus to go to this software. The differences between, Dwayne, let me just check and see if you clarified this. I print my own images, so I'm looking to not only calibrate my monitor but also my printer. So in regards to custom printer profiles, how would the i1Studio compare to the i1 Pro Photo Pro 2? I wouldn't say that the profiles are going to be more accurate. You do have a little, you have access to larger patch sets in the i1 Photo Pro 2 software. The i1 Photo Pro 2 has two light sources built into it, so that you can do optical brightener corrections for the optical brightening agent corrections by doing a double scan that you cannot do with i1Studio. So there are some definite pluses to being able to use the i1 Photo Pro 2 device and the i1 full i1 Profiler software, either in the photo version or the published version. But all things considered, if the patch set is sufficient, if the options for selecting customization are adequate for you in the i1Studio, you're going to get very, very good profiles. So do you have more versatility with the i1 Published Pro 2 and the i1 Photo Pro 2? Yes, you do. But is it fundamentally a better profile if you made the same settings and used the same size patch set? I would say no. It would, with the same size patch set, the same settings, those profiles should be very, very similar to each other. So I hope that answers that question. Color Monkey, we just addressed that. i1Studio software operate with Color Monkey Photo? Yes. So Color Monkey Photo, not Color Monkey Display. So let's be really clear about that. This software, i1Studio, is going to function only with the Color Monkey Photo or the Color Monkey Design product, not with the Color Monkey Display product. So I want to be really clear about that. Bill says, is there some way to get the new software to use with the old Color Monkey Photo? Absolutely. That's xrite.com/get i1Studio. Can the targets from Color Checker Passport be used with the software? We addressed that, and the answer is yes. We don't know about the Epson Advanced black and white mode yet, but we will have that information for you sometime, probably in the next 30 days. Is there no setting for contrast ratio? No, there isn't, other than the tone response curve. So that's another thing that with the i1 Profiler, full i1 Profiler software, differentiates the i1Studio package from the i1 Photo Pro 2 and the i1 Publish Pro 2, you can actually limit the contrast ratio on your monitor profile in the full version of the i1 Profiler. So, Tyree, I hope that gives you a good answer there. Bernard, when i1Studio installed, is Color Monkey Photo automatically uninstalled? No, it is not. So you can continue to use the color picker that's built into there. If I recalibrate with this software, I use i1 Photo Display on a current 5K. I have to recalibrate custom pay so I think what you're asking me is if you use an i1 Display Pro or an i1 Photo Pro 2 and you're profiling your monitor and you switch to using the i1Studio to profile your monitor, are you going to have to make new custom paper profiles? And the answer is no. The question I would have for you, Norman, is why would you want to shift to the i1Studio if you already have the Photo Pro 2? If you have the Display Pro, then obviously I know why you want to go to the i1Studio because you're able to make your own paper profiles, you're able to do your own scanner profiles, and so forth. So if you want to clarify that question a little more, if I haven't answered it, please be sure to do that. Yes, we can profile, we can make CMYK profiles with the i1Studio package. So that is an important thing that is still included with the i1Studio. Now remember, folks, just because your printer has cyan, magenta, yellow inks and K for black inks, that does not mean that it is a CMYK printer. Inkjet printers, by definition, are RGB devices. Okay, that's the language that they speak. So the only reason you would need to make a CMYK profile is to use perhaps with a RIP that needs a CMYK profile or some other purpose for a CMYK profile. You would not make, generally, make a CMYK profile for your regular inkjet printers. So let's be clear about that. Can you change the number of patches, especially with larger papers, 70 by 22? No. That also is one of the limitations of i1Studio. So if you want to have a larger patch set, then that is the reason, or one of the best reasons, to go with the i1 Photo Pro 2 or the i1 Publish Pro 2 packages to be able to increase your patch sizes. Marsha's asking, is profiling the printer paper better than using Lightroom and adding the paper profile in that program? Well, you're still going to add the paper profile in Lightroom, but if what you're asking is a custom profile better than a canned profile, usually it is, because you're profiling in your own environment. You're taking into account the age of your print head. You're taking into account the humidity that's in your environment. So generally, yes, your custom profiles are going to be better. Now, of course, if you're making a black and white profile, that's not available to download online. If you're making these custom look profiles, the standard black and white, high contrast black and white, sepia, and cold tone, those are not available online, so your only choice is to make your own custom ones. So I would encourage you to think about making your own custom profiles for a variety of reasons, not the least of which is as your print head ages, then the profiles that are available online will only be relevant to new print heads or print heads that are in the same condition as the ones that were used when these profiles that you're downloading from online were made. So this is just another way to tighten up your workflow and make sure that you're getting the very best product possible out of your printer. Bill says, can you make your own test chart for transmission by using a color transparency? No, Bill, you have to use something that is an industry standard so that the software can know what it's supposed to be. It will actually sense what target it is, it knows what those values are, and then it compares what it's seeing from the scanner with a known set of values to create the profile. So you would have to use something that is commercially available, a transmissive IT8 target that's commercially available. They are expensive. I know they are, but remember that you're saving yourself a bunch of time when you use this and produce an ICC profile for your scanner. Next question is from Bernard. Would you soft proof using profiles and edit in that workspace? You would for everything, I think, except the look profiles that you're making off the color images. In that case, you certainly could edit and soft proof through those profiles, but yes, just as you would soft proof for any other color or black and white profile from a converted black and white or a color image, you can certainly soft proof that way. So Tyree, I think we answered the contrast question. If you have a follow-up to that, please put it in at the end and I'll get to it later. Does this profiler give a better profile than the ones used for NEC specific monitors? Well, Gloria, for any monitor software where you are plugging in a USB from the monitor directly to your computer, in addition to the HDMI or whatever other cable that you're plugging into your printer, sometimes these monitors have internal CPUs. They have little computers built into them. And the proprietary manufacturer software for these monitors, like NEC or BenQ or AZO, actually adjusts internally the brightness and the contrast inside that CPU in the monitor. So theoretically, you should get a tighter, better, more exacting profile by using the monitor manufacturer's software, and that is what we recommend. Okay, Kareem says, I have a Canon 5D Mark II, an Epson Photo Pro printer and high-end scanner. So i1Photo can calibrate everything and monitor. So I think you mean i1Studio, and the answer is yes. Scanner, camera, monitor, and printer profiles. Absolutely. Bill, thanks for coming. Rick says, when and where do I get one? All your major retail photo outlets have them in stock now. We have them in our warehouse at Mac Group in White Plains to supply all our dealers. So you should be able to get them at your favorite photo retailer, whether that's online or in person. Norman says, I have both Color Monkey and i1Photo Pro. The flare adjustment was interesting, hence the question. Thanks for the answer. Okay, super. I think we've... Norman, this is great. Thanks for saying this. He says, you've saved me some time, and the product has saved me a ton of money for ink cost over the years. That is exactly what we're trying to do. X-Rite color management solutions are one of the few things you'll ever buy in your photography career that will pay for themselves in saved time and money on paper and ink. That is for sure. Does the i1Studio have tutorial online or downloadable manual? We are developing materials as we go along. I encourage you to follow the X-Rite the photo blog at blog.xritephoto.com. We will be posting tutorials on all the modules over the next coming weeks and actually months and years as time goes on. So you'll be able to get all kinds of information from that. There is no official manual. The help files that are built in to the software and the videos that are embedded there are designed to help you out. And if you need more information, please send us a question on X-Rite Photo or on the blog or on Facebook, and we will get back to you with an answer. Facebook's probably the quickest way to get an answer for any question that you have on this or any other product. Tom says, please discuss the ambient light correction. Well, the ambient light correction for i1Studio means that you're going to take a measurement of the ambient light that you're going to view your prints in so that when you make your monitor profile, it is going to more closely match the light under which you're going to view your prints. So it will just help to give you a little bit better print to screen match if you're using color corrected lights or a color corrected light box. Can you get an upgrade for Color Monkey Photo software to i1Studio? Yes, you can. We've discussed that. Please go to xrite.com/get i1Studio and download in that. Gloria, glad you joined us. Thank you for coming. I think we're just about out of time here. Actually, we're 15 minutes over, so I'm going to call it a day. Thank you for your kind attention, and please come ask us questions on Facebook. If you get into the i1Studio, please let us know how you like it. We'd like to know how you are responding to it and help you in any way we can. Thanks again, and thank you for using X-Rite Color Management Solutions. Everybody have a good rest of your day.